south side and through to their third grand final in 4 seasons. Reed swoops on the crown with massive basket.
Reed, you are kidding me.
And the fire burns brightest. Townsville are WNBL champions for the 4th time.
Round 5 of the Cygnett WNBL season concludes in the nation's sporting capital with a clash between two of the most entertaining teams in the comp. New roster, new season, same old Melbourne Boomers always winning. That's been the story for Chris Lucas's side so far, undefeated after 5 games. Today they host the blistering, breathtaking, high-octane Lynx, who are determined to regain momentum after 2 losses on the trot. Can the Lynx inflict Melbourne's first loss? Or will the Boomers continue their winning ways? We will find out over the next 2 hours from Parkville, right here on 9 Now. Ben Waterworth with you, alongside reigning NBL 1 National Championship coach Mark Alabakov. Hello, Mark. We're in for a fun afternoon.
We really are. It's the battle of pace versus possession. So the phrase you used, high octane for Perth, the pace that they play at has given teams headaches. The tempo, the fast break points, the points off turnovers, they're just relentless with it. But they've got to rectify some second half fade outs that they've had in their past 2 contests. For the Melbourne Boomers, it's steady as she goes. They're the champions of possession play. They recover 36% of missed shots as an offensive rebound and average 6 more rebounds. So all of that adds up and it wears down teams, even in close games, and that's why they've got a flawless record.
Speaking of champions, we just saw her on screens beforehand. Monique Conti, only 6 days ago, won the highest individual award in the AFLW, winning the AFLW Best and Fairest Award. 6 days later, she's playing for the Boomers off the bench. 1 day before she won the award, she was coming off the bench for the Melbourne Boomers. She's a terrific dual sports athlete.
I hope she writes a book one day. I've been lucky enough to work with Monique quite a bit throughout her career. She's as tenacious as they come. She's as advertised. There's no quit in her. She's a bona fide winner at anything that she turns her hand to.
She is a star at several sports, Monique Conti. So let's have a look at the WNBL ladder ahead of the final game of round 5. The Boomers sitting pretty 5-0, hoping to make it 6 wins on the trot to start the season. The Perth Lynx, though, are the really good opportunity, Mark, to have a 2-game break on the bottom 4 teams with a victory today.
And it just gives you a bit of breathing room if you can afford that. But most importantly, if they can knock off the Boomers, you knock off top of the table, the unbeaten team. But then this can also have head-to-head implications towards the back end of the season on head-to-head.
One of the great subplots of today's game will be the battle between the 2-star import guards, Jordan Canada of the Boomers and Aerie McDonald of the Lynx. How blessed are we to have 2 high-quality players in the competition this season?
They're 2 special athletes. I mean, we look at them statistically. They're both within the top 10 in scoring. So McDonald with 20 points a game as an average, Canada with 16. And then you've got 7 assists for McDonald. You've got 9.5 for Canada. Both of those have, both those athletes, I should say, have the capacity to score, but then get others involved at the right times. They're great decision makers, but most importantly, they've got a clutch gene. They want the ball in their hands when it's winning time.
Well, the Boomers face an opportunity now to go 6-0 as we have a look at how they will line up today. Almost at full strength. Christy Wallace maybe 3 to 4 weeks away coming off that knee injury, but they bat deep, this Boomers outfit.
They do, and you know, they'll go with what has gotten to this point. So that starting 5 has been very profitable for them. But then being able to delve into the bench, you know, Cherie Kalia has come in and played some key minutes. Penina Davidson is an international caliber post player with the capacity to get out on a break and get on the end of stuff. She's a post target for you as well, and really feeds into that possession play type of mentality that they've got this season.
And from a Perth Lynx perspective as well, a pretty settled starting 5 for them. Neil Goodchild will be helping McDonald from a guard's perspective. And then Annalie Maley has been colossal again off the boards.
She really has. So her, Mila Goodchild, they've both been tremendous in terms of their ability to expand their games within this Perth Lynx lineup and show their wares as athletes within the national landscape. So Maley is now in the top 13 athletes within assists. Goodchild's been able to shoot the ball well, but gets others involved too.
So you can watch us here on 9 Now and also follow along all the live scores, all the highlights, player and team information via the official WNBL app, which is here for the 2023-24 season. You won't want to miss a minute of the action. So download the free WNBL app from your preferred app store right now. Moments away from the tip here at Parkville. The Boomers and the Lynx. The Boomers hoping to go 6 and zip. The Perth Lynx rather trying to improve their win-loss ratio to 4 and 2 and rectify a 2-loss streak. Underway from Parkville, the Melbourne Boomers and the Perth Lynx. Melbourne have won 10 of the past 15 games between these two sides. And interestingly, the team that has won the first match of their series every year has gone on to win the past 5 years, those respective series. The Boomers off to a hot start with an early triple. Great to have your company on 9 now, wherever you're watching. Here's that matchup, McDonald v Canada. McDonald finds Maley. Atwell, who's hot from three-point territory in recent times. That didn't look good off the hand. Maley scraps in quintessential Maley style, but can't win the ball back. And the Boomers get the defensive stop.
It can't be understated the value that adds to the Perth Lynx lineup for the amount of three-point shots that they shoot. If three-point shots miss, they tend to miss long, but the pursuit from Annalise Maley keeps the ball alive for them.
Just a reminder, the Boomers today wearing their Indigenous uniform because this game is their Indigenous recognition game. Canada, it's the screen from Hillman. 6 to shoot now. Keely Froling lost control to try to go inside. Got it back, though, to Hillman. She misses, but there's Keely Froling's offensive rebounding capabilities on display. Blitzarves misses the triple, and the Lynx get the defensive rebound. Blitzarves hitting an early confidence-boosting 3, though, for the Boomers. Atwell misfires at the other end. Canada crossing over. Quick hands out to Froling. The top of the key. Can't get that one to go, and an early board for Annalise Maley. McDonald lobbing it in for Potter. And a terrific acquisition for Perth this season. Can't get that one to go. That's deemed off Boomer's hands, so the Lynx will have 14 seconds to work with here.
She's been a huge addition with her post presence. It just gives you a target to throw to 2 feet from the hoop.
Here she is on Potter, but lovely hands in there from Canada. Potter, though, got the ball up and through the net and will head to the line for an extra to make it a 3-point play.
And she's the second part of the improved rebounding for the Perth Lynx. So obviously when you recruit Annalise Maley, you automatically get 15 rebounds a game added to your roster. But Potter's been huge with that as well. So I think both of those two athletes are in the top 10 in the competition for rebounding.
Averaging the 8 boards per game, Emily Potter. And importantly, going at 50% in every game from the field so far. Blitzarves banks it in. Good start for Sarah Blitzarves. She has all of the Boomers' points. Donald just keeps control. Goodchild, lovely crossover on Blitzarves. That is pretty from Mila Goodchild.
Outstanding, and took a straight line path to the basket. It's the quickest way from where you are to the hoop.
Glorious finish from the Perth recruit. Blitzarves is feeling it early, though. Can't get that one to drop. Maley kicks up the tempo. Atwell, catch and shoot. Blitzarves brings down the rebound. Canada and McDonald again going head-to-head. This time, McDonald with a mini win, able to knock it out of bounds. She was disappointed she didn't grab it cleanly. Already, we're seeing these two WNBA high-caliber players going at it.
McDonald's done a tremendous job of being able to keep Canada in front of her, and that forces her to have to make the play without committing a second defender to her.
Good look here for Hillman. Long 2 is a good 2. Coming off an epic game against the Caps last week. 33 points and 13 boards. 13 of 20 from the field for Naz Hillman. McDonald can't get that one to go. We know the Perth Lynx love to jack up the threes whenever possible. Froling aggressive. Tough shot. A bit of a mismatch here at the other end of the floor. Goodchild, though, lost control. Now she has a good look for 3. Oh, nylon from Mila Goodchild.
and always committed to making the extra pass, the Perth Lynx, and that's what makes them so dangerous around the three-point line.
Of course, playing against their old side today, Mila Goodchild, was very impressive for the Boomers in her 20 games last season. Now a starter at the Lynx, beautifully read by Maley. Another turnover created by the Lynx. She goes back to Potter. She can't get that one to go. She's thinking about going herself. Went for Potter instead. Canada, oh my! Deserved to go in. Aesthetically looks superb. She'll head to the line and shoot a couple of free throws.
And the game just frenetic to begin. So that drive just a little out of control on the finish, but was able to get a shot up on the glass, even through the contact, gets herself to the free throw line. Both of these teams will just start to find their way across the next minute or so and be able to settle into their ball game. 6
seasons in the WNBA, including 4 at Seattle, where she was part of the 2018 and 2020 championship teams. But it's really at Los Angeles where she is taken a big step forward, averaging the 13 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, going at 87% from the free throw line in her last WNBA season. She is technically a free agent from January as well. And I get the sense that a lot of WNBA clubs, from reading US reports, are going to be on the phone to her management trying to sign her up for 2024. Goodchild, good look. Potter, so good. Off the offensive rebound, puts it back in for 2. All tied up. Canada. 3-ball response at the other end, giving the Lynx the taste of their own medicine. Good. McDonald steps back, falling well short. And a good opportunity here for the Boomers to respond. Canada, DeFroling, who steams through. And an offensive foul is called. Amy Atwell drawing the contact.
And just that lane to be able to cut into for Keely Froling, that's created by Jordan Canada, and the gravity that she has. Here, it's tough because you want to try to stay in front of her, but the moment that you carry a hand and you go chase her on the three-point line after she hits one in the last possession, she's going to cross the ball over and blow straight past you. So she forces a whole lot of matchup headaches.
So Atwell takes a seat for the Perth Lynx. Matt Clinch-Hoycard onto the floor for the first time. She has the basketball now. Trying to free up Goodchild. They even had the shot herself. He backs her three-point shooting ability. Kenzie Clinch-Hoycard. Halfway through this first quarter, Canada kicks it out to Reed. Looking ominous early, Jordan Canada at the offensive end of the floor. McDonald's, tough. Couldn't get that one to go. Good defense from Canada. Hillman wasn't expecting it. Blitzarves goes to work, kicks it back out for Hillman for another long 2. This time falling short. Froling scraps for the offensive rebound. Frenetic start to this one. Canada can't get it to go. McDonald has Goodchild streaming to her right. Look away pass was beautiful. Mila Goodchild is having a hot start in Parkville.
And it's exactly what we alluded to pre-game, the possession versus pace. The Lynx get a score on that last possession just through sheer pace. The Boomers are keeping the ball alive with possession play. Keely Froling up to 2 offensive rebounds.
And now Blitzarves adds to her scoring. She's got 7 points. Goodchild also has 7 for the Lynx. Clinch-Hoycard going for an optimistic pass to Chibatoni. Instead, it's Reed finding Hillman. Foul is called on Clinch-Hoycard. Naz will head to the line.
And I love that the Melbourne Boomers are typified here by Naz Hillman. They don't shy away from contact, so they're ready to go and play through any bumps and be able to finish or leverage that contact and be able to finish through it.
Reed and Froling taking a seat. Timeout is called by the Perth Lynx. Early stages here at the Sports Centre in Parkville. This timeout is brought to you by Cygnett, Australia's #1 digital accessories brand. Cygnett continues to power the WNBL. Australian-owned and designed Cygnett is available at JB Hi-Fi, Officeworks and other leading retailers. More information, visit cygnett.com. So the Lynx, 1 of 6 from three-point territory. We'll be watching that tally with plenty of interest, but the Boomers already 2-5 as well. Is there a real distinct difference in styles between the two teams, Mark, today?
I think so, and I mean, I allude to that pace versus possession play, and you see it evident. I mean, even in that last possession, there's a foul on Naz Hillman going to the basket, but what you don't see, the whistle blows, and Keely Frolling's right there with the ball in her hands. So if there was no whistle, the ball lands in her hands.
Yep.
That'll be a third offensive rebound and a wide open layup. So the size that they have and the physicality that they play with, it keeps the ball alive in possessions, and they're going to need to do that to try and stem the tide of the relentless pace that Perth wants to play with. But for Perth, you've got everybody on the floor who's capable of rebounding the ball and then triggering the break themselves. They can turn and take 1 or 2 bounces and then throw it ahead, and they cause headaches for you in transition.
It's the great Christy Harrower giving some instructions there to Amy Rochi, who's coming onto the floor for her first minutes of the game. In the meantime, Naz Hillman at the charity stripe, a 76% free throw shooter so far this season. Out of Cleveland, Ohio, pick 15 in the 2022 WNBA draft, an outstanding rookie season for the Atlanta Dream. Gives Melbourne a 4-point lead. We tick towards quarter time. Canada not giving McDonald a lot of room to move, but McDonald making things happen, aggressive, driving to the basket, and drew the contact.
And just a great read here to turn down passing to her teammate off the staggered screen on the weak side of the floor. So they ran an action to potentially occupy defenders to open up that lane, or maybe that's a read from Erin McDonald just to see that opportunity to change course and have a straight line path to the basket herself.
A little quiet against Townsville in Perth Lynx' most recent game. Just the 4 points. She was 1 of 8 from the field. The leading point scorers in the WNBL, averaging 20 per game. Looking to try and rectify that. She's on the board here with a free throw. Already has a couple of assists. Harry McDonald. Canada sees some space. Kicks it out with a loopy pass for Blitzarves. Canada has it again with 10 to shoot. And then has a good look thanks to the Davidson screen, but Lynch Hoycard brings down the rebound. Now Clinch Hoycard finds some space in the lane. Did everything but get it to go. But they have a look for 3 through McDonald's. The Boomers get away with one there.
Unlucky, because that right there typifies Perth Lynx basketball. Relentless, try to get to the rim, but then off a rebound from Maley, kick it out and find an open shooter.
Again, a strong screen from Davidson. And then gets it back from Canada and gets the 2. Good chemistry from the Boomers. Two and a half to play in the first. Chimatoni for Clinch Hoycard. Back out for Maley. Has a look for her first 3 and drains it.
It's a huge 3. I was just about to say, I'd like to see her drive that over a closeout and a high hand from Penina Davidson. Maley's got the quickness to go by her off the bounce there.
3-point shooting hasn't been her forte this season, going to 17% from deep. We know that's been a big improvement in her game in recent years. Rochi lost control, and McDonald was fouled on her way through. Referee's just conferring, though, to work out exactly who it was on, I think.
But going back to Annalie Maley, we know that she can score the basketball, and she's quite a talent at that end of the floor. Interestingly, while we've got the 2 highest scoring teams in the competition, out of the top 20 individual scorers in the WNBL at the moment, these teams have 6. So they've got 3 apiece. But 2 people that don't feature in that is Annalie Maley and Sarah Blitzarves, and they've both, they're critical to their team.
Well, it's an unsportsmanlike called on Amy Rochi. So that's what the referees were conferring about. So Ari McDonald will have a look at a couple of free throws here. A round of applause in the background as Monique Conti comes onto the floor for the first time. In the meantime, Ari McDonald at the line, an 82% free throw shooter so far this season.
A smart substitution to bring in Monique Conti. She can give you 2 minutes of relentless effort and the tenacity that I mentioned pre-game, especially on the defensive end, just to take a bit of the heat off the guard contingent for the Boomers. She can climb in. I was going to say climb into Erin McDonald, but they've subbed her out.
We just saw that foul from Rochi, just reaching in there. And all three referees getting involved to confirm the unsportsmanlike. Pass there from Forster. Now Atwell, aggressive inside. And, well, great defence in the end from the Melbourne Boomers to force the turnover. Not give away the foul.
And they're on high alert for Amy Atwell, especially after the game last round where she shot the ball tremendously well. Every time she gets possession of it, the Melbourne Boomers defender, so in that case, Tara Reid, high hand immediately.
Hand in there from Potter. Still alive here for the Boomers. Rochi kicking it out. Conti for three. All oxygen on that attempt. And Reid has done well to put the ball into Atwell, who then went out of bounds, but there's less than a second on the shot clock.
So you're thinking catch and shoot here. You've got to contest without fouling and just make sure you box out.
Conti! She was fouled. Oh, wow. Potter can't believe it. With 0.8 seconds on the clock, Conti has somehow drawn the contact. Foul, I think, on Chloe Forster. As we mentioned, pre-game as well. 6 days ago, won the award, the highest individual honour in the AFLW. Tomorrow night, she could become a 5-time Richmond best and fairest. The AFLW, they got their best and fairest tomorrow night. Here she is, a championship player, of course, with the Southside Flyers a couple of seasons ago. WNBL rookie back in 2017. Got one mighty fine CV. Davidson called for the foul, and Potter this time will head to the line.
She does a really good job with her body control, Emily Potter. So being able to step through there where the defender gets her body too close, steps over the top and is able to get separation from her body, the defender, and the basketball, and have a clear path to get the shot up.
A 79% free throw shooter this season, Emily Potter. 2 double-doubles in her first season with the Lynx. On the second attempt. So they're 3 of 6 from the charity stripe so far, the Lynx. Rochi for Reid, who lobs it in for Froling. He's double-teamed, running out of room, and she stepped out of bounds.
Defensive change up by the Perth Lynx to be in a 2-3 zone. So leveraging the fact that the Melbourne Boomers are 2 of 7 from the 3-point line, they're testing their ability to play from the perimeter.
Choikart and Chibatoni tucked up in the defensive end of the floor. Rochi can't believe it. She thought it was off Lynx's hand. She holds in her frustration, but she's a tough defender, Amy Rochi.
But Perth not out of jail here. They've got 2 seconds to get the ball over halfway.
Chibatoni lobs it for Atwell. They get out of danger. And then it works out well as Atwell finds Potter for 2.
It's a great pass. And then if you hang around the rim, good things happen, especially when you go into the weak side of the floor if there's somebody diving.
Potter up to 7 points. Reid works away. Back out to Rochi. And a good look at 3 there, didn't drop. Conti with a long rebound. Kicks it out for Reid, just stays in the field of play. Davidson with 5 to shoot, driving baseline here is the Kiwi, and did really well to follow up with another offensive rebound. Froling gets another offensive rebound, and now she will head to the line.
That's the challenge that you have. So when you commit to the 2-3 zone defense, if you're Perth, you're challenging the 3-point shot, right? So you get what you want when they take a shot. Amy Rochi out of the corner misses that 3-point shot, but you've got to come up with the rebound. And while it's difficult to box anybody out, you've got to be first to the ball and run through it almost like an AFL full forward. They give up 3 offensive rebounds there to the Melbourne Boomers on that possession, and then now there's free throws out of the play.
So from her first 2 games, Keely Froling, she averaged the 8 points and was just going at 18% from the field, but she's flipped the script in the last 3 games, averaging 17 points and going at 48% from the field, and she was massive against the Caps last week, 17 points and 14 rebounds. She hits that free throw and levels up the scores, 19 apiece, lots of fouls, lots of action early. Didn't expect anything less really between these two sides. McDonald able to kick it out. Atwell, natural habitat, can't get the 3 to go. And Annalie Maley couldn't bring down the offensive rebound, so still a second left on the game clock. And Conti puts up a late prayer. And it's all tied up at the first change. Melbourne 19, Perth 19. Don't go anywhere. Second quarter action coming up on the other side of this.
Looking for your pathway in basketball? She Hoops Leadership and Confidence Scholarship can help. We're offering 30 girls from around Australia the opportunity to develop as coaches, players and officials, with mentoring from some of Australia's best basketballers and some of Australia's best coaches in breaking down barriers. If you're a girl aged 15 to 18, then this is for you. This 5-month program will accelerate your development both on and off the court. Interested? Head to shehoops.com.au to apply.
So as part of the Melbourne Boomers 40th anniversary celebrations and recognition, this week we see Linda Collinson accepting a gift there on behalf of her late mother Jan Collinson, who was the founder of the Boomers WNBL program back in 1984. Jan passed away in April earlier this year, but her husband John and her daughter Linda sitting courtside in Jan's favourite seats in the corner next to the away bench. A lovely moment earlier on today. It's quarter time at the Melbourne Sports Centre in Parkville, and it is 19 apiece between the Boomers and the Lynx. Ben Waterworth with you alongside Mark Alabakov. And it's a bit of an early arm wrestle between these two sides, Mark.
It really is. So you've got Keely Froling for the Melbourne Boomers, who's done a fantastic job in spearheading their program. You've got 4 offensive rebounds for her. The Melbourne Boomers have 6 as a team, which is quite high for 1 quarter of play. And they've got a 5 rebound differential, so they're getting more possessions just by wearing the Perth Lynx down on the offensive glass.
Second quarter underway. Conti guarding very tightly there, McDonald. Good child back on the floor. Potter lost control. There's a foul off the ball. McDonald hits the floor. Conti also on hands and knees. Just a look at the top of your screen. McDonald flew off that contact as well from Conti. Luckily, both players straight back to their feet. 2 tough customers. Nice to see some sportsmanship between the two. Harry McDonald, 25 years of age, was really in demand. When Perth reached out, she actually reached out to Marina Maybury, who really took this league by storm a few years ago, and Marina sold Airy. And Potter is the other import, is having a big impact for Perth this season, and she's up to 9 points against the Boomers. Here's Conti. Good look here from the charity stripe. That one doesn't drop. And Atwell comes up with the rebound. A double dribble call there. So the Boomers will get the ball back in their front court. 14 seconds to work with here. Great to have you with us on 9 now. Sunday WNBL action coming your way. We're running out round 5 of the season. Conti gets the screen from Hillman, who lost control. And just denied Goodchild a fast break opportunity. Rushed the shot though, and Maley brings down the board. Maley v. Froling. Kicks it all the way out to Atwell, who lobs it in for Potter. Tough shot with the left. Pretty though from Potter, and she's pumped.
She's on fire. They need to keep going to the well. Keep getting her involved in actions.
Comes the first player in the game into double figures. Canada explodes into the lane. Layup off target though. Potter with the rebound. Now McDonald. Not a lot of options, so she put up a shot herself.
Not great shot selection from Mary McDonald.
And an offensive foul, this time called.
We have a foul on Nas. That is second team.
As Hillman giving away the contact. Donald drawing it. Long attempt from Goodchild. She's hit some real daggers in this game, Mila Goodchild. And a timeout is called. The Lynx have got a 7-point advantage early stages of the second quarter. Timeout call brought to you by your local Ford dealer, proudly supporting community basketball in Australia. So Potter has 11 points and Goodchild has 10. Not like that they're unlikely types, but I suppose, you know, when we think of the Lynx a lot of the time, we think of the defensive ability of Annalene Maley, the shooting of Atwell, and of course Erin McDonald having a terrific season. But those two players really driving the scoring mark for the Lynx.
And they're very capable, you know, and that's the thing. They can fly under the radar of teams and do a whole lot of damage, so scoring 21 of the team's points so far. But then you always have that ever-present threat. You know, Atwell's not on the board as yet, but she's always a threat from the three-point line. We know what Erin McDonald can do, and she can turn it on with a blistering 3 or 4 minute patch where she can have 8 points on the board. And then, I mean, we mentioned Maley, just the sheer effort that she plays with to go and recover possession 2 feet from the hoop. She's in layup territory, or she's in position to be fouled and get herself on the free throw line. But I love her relentlessness for pursuing the offensive glass, but then the unselfishness to move the ball on when she's in a crowd.
And if you haven't seen a Perth Lynx game in the past couple of weeks, Mila Goodchild wearing a mask. She had a broken nose during a training session prior to round 2. But wearing a specially designed mask to protect that injury. Certainly not affecting her shooting at the moment. She's got 10 points. Hot start for her. She gets hot. She can be really hard to stop. The Boomers know all about that though. Froling, that was a tough basket. Gets one against the flow.
And Perth back into the 2-3 zone, so still trying to challenge Melbourne to shoot from the perimeter.
Here is Goodchild. Points won't count. Now coming before the shot.
It's a great drive here, and just patience to be able to hold her dribble, keep it protected, and then be able to release contact to get the finish. It's a shame there wasn't a continuity on the play. And she could get rewarded with the basket as well.
Coming off a big NBL 1 campaign with the Mount Gambier Pioneers, averaging the 24.7 rebounds. All-Star 5 honours for Mila Goodchild coming into this season. New team, but coming with great form. 7 to shoot here for McDonald. Running out of options there. And Canada picks her pocket. Blitzarves for Canada. Reassesses with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Gets the screen from Froling behind the back. Hillman might have to put it up here, running out of time. Did well to get to the rim in the end, but execution wasn't there. McDonald this time goes herself for the right hand. Awesome.
It's outstanding. Being able to stay in front of Jordan Canada and contain her, force her to have to pass the ball up to somebody else, and then on the break, get on the tip of the rim. That's world-class stuff from Erin McDonald.
Seeing a world-class battle between those two players at the moment. This time, McDonald doing the guarding. Canada trying to create. Blitzarves, that was blocked. Great block from Amy Atwell. Might set up a fast break opportunity here. Can she do it from the three-point line? Oh, it was in and out. That would have been awesome. And then Maley missed the second chance attempt. Boomers again get away with one. Reed steps on the gas misses. Hillman misses off the offensive rebound, but they still have a fresh 14 to work with the Boomers.
Possession play, 2 offensive rebounds in the same possession.
Hillman double teamed this time by Potter and Atwell. Kicks it out and out of bounds. Perth living up to their high octane status, asking the Boomers to come with them.
You just feel like the 3-point floodgates are going to open for Perth too.
Atwell tries a 2. It's for the second time in a minute. Her field goal attempt rattles in and out.
Just doing the proverbial John Casey lap of honour around the rim.
She's 0 of 7 from the field so far, Amy Atwell, but the coach Ryan Petrick, Atwell and all the Perth Lynx players encouraged to continue putting it up. Potter. That look easy with that attempt in the end. Boomers will have a look from the stop. Canada crossing over. Then he got a good look thanks to a great screen from Davidson. Those two work really well together. Couldn't get it to go though. Atwell. Good defense from Davidson and Co for the Boomers, forcing the turnover. Canada thought about the 3. Blitzarves did put up the 3 and fell short. And it will be a Perth ball from their backcourt.
You're looking for some offensive discipline if you're the Melbourne Boomers. So they've had a whole lot of profit when they've been able to go inside. So whether that's been to a post touch or a high post catch, I think one of their earlier scores in the quarter was a Keely Froling rip to the basket from the elbow. But if they don't take the bait from the Perth Lynx to shoot from the perimeter, they play to their strengths. The ball's at the tip of the rim. Their rebounding and possession play game starts to overcome or starts to turn the momentum in their favour.
Far from panic stations for the Melbourne Boomers. 5.5 still left in this second quarter, down by 7. They were pushed to the brink by Canberra last round. Ended up coming up with an overtime victory.
And they'll take confidence from that. They've been in this position before, the Melbourne Boomers. So they were earlier in the season in this position against the Bendigo Spirit. They were in the same position against the UC Caps. So being able to grind their way through with that physicality that they play with, that possession play that they play with over 4 quarters, they wear teams down and they keep themselves in the hunt.
Tino Reid takes a seat. Choi card feeds it out for Goodchild. She's good from deep today.
Depends who you ask. To the Melbourne Boomers, she could be bad child.
She was Goodchild last season for them.
Correct.
10-point differential. Lob pass inside for Blitzarves. Feeds Froling, who had a good look from the charity stripe. Good patience from the Boomers on offense that time.
And the discipline, they get a paint touch, they get themselves a catch to Keely Froling at the free throw line, 1 dribble and score.
Tony thought about the long attempt. Instead, McDonald will create with 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Clint Choikard goes for the 3-ball and drains it. And maybe the 3-ball floodgates are opening for Perth.
And this is what you face whenever you play the Perth Lynx. I liken it to a dam wall that you're trying to hold shut, and you only can for periods of time, but eventually the floodgates open, and you've got to try and plug it back up again.
Canada for the 2. In and out, that goes. And the Lynx feeling it. Maley had no idea that basketball was coming towards her, though. Just a bit of a miscommunication on offense. And then, unfortunately for the Lynx, Maley gave away the foul. (34-23) in favour of Perth. Blitzarves playing in the low post here. Couldn't get it to go, but she gets an offensive rebound. They have cleaned up off the offensive glass. Froling attempted the triple, fell well short. And make him pay at the other end again, the Lynx. About to activate a number of substitutions. McDonald spins, trying to get around McDonald. Kicks it out for Clinch Hoycard, and she nails it too.
And she knows who she is, Mackenzie Clinch Hoycard. That pick and pop shooter, you've got to chase her out and try to throw her off that shot by being able to make her put the ball on the floor. Have her make decisions off the dribble as best you possibly can, because she can hurt you from the three-point line like she's doing today.
Another timeout called, a timeout brought to you by CTM Sport, which is here to transform your team's travel experience. Leave the hassle of off-court arrangements to CTM Sport, the experts in sports travel management. Get the winning edge at ctmsport.com.au. We have a game-high lead, 14 points for the Perth Lynx. It's been an emphatic second quarter, in particular 18 points to 4 in this second quarter alone from the Perth Lynx. And it's been Goodchild, it's been Potter, and then Clinch Hoycard has hit a couple of threes late in this quarter. And the Boomers have got a fair bit to deal with right now, Mark, just before half-time.
Well, there's a couple of things that you can do to try and alleviate this pressure. So, number one, I think it's the shot selection. So if you're going to be baited into shooting either the three-point shot, or they've taken at least 3 to 4 long two-point shots, if those don't fall, they generally fall as a long rebound, which lends itself to the way that the Lynx want to play. You've got Annalie Maley pouncing on it and being able to trigger the break, and then you're having to expend so much energy chasing in transition. They either get on the rim or they get a clean look at the three, the Perth Lynx. But when they've got post touches and they've slowed the game down to a half-court grind, that's where I think they've been most effective. Defensively, they've got to try and take away the three-point shot. So generally speaking, switching on any screening exchanges is the best way to do that.
Let's see what they can do on offense. Forster guarding McDonald. Again, the screen from Davidson. Canada, though, is so good. Drew the contact and will head to the line, shoot an extra.
And a big-time play, to quote Carrie Graf, big-time player making big-time plays. But you know, it goes with what I was talking about earlier. She gets herself right into the middle of that Williams sticker before she goes to make a play.
Just a 59% free throw shooter this season, Jordan Canada. And she's perfect on that attempt. Much-needed three-point play for Melbourne to draw them back within 11. Atwell back on the floor. Cipollone for Potter. Great ball movement. Potter couldn't hit it from the baseline. Boomers get a stop. Much needed one. Froling. Trying to feed Rochi. Does feed Rochi, who goes back to Froling, who lost control.
Right idea. You know, I like them being able to pierce the keyway, and you can be a primary scorer or then be able to kick the ball back out, and then you're looking for either a pass back in or a dribble penetration back in on that weak side of the floor when all of the defenders are in rotation, because you've got more space created.
Atwell for Clinch Hoycard. Goodchild is free, but the pass was just a little to her left. It wasn't an in-motion opportunity. Forster gets the screen. Goes hoping for Potter in the end, and threw it into the shoes of Keely Froling.
And the Boomers rolling the dice themselves with their own 2-3 zone, so they would have taken stock from the Southside Flyers having profit the whole second half of the game that they played only a couple of weeks ago, staying in the 2-3 zone and causing some trouble for the Lynx.
Great defense from Amy Rochi, the rejection, and then will drive the offensive play here. Was hoping for Froling, but in fact, it was Blitzars on that occasion and didn't come off. And a lob pass, Atwell underneath the rack. No foul call. Clean play. Give the rejection to Davidson. Atwell looking around at the refs. No whistle. Fresh 24 for Melbourne to work with. Canada barely had a spell today or any game throughout the season. That rattles in and out. Great hustle from Froling and then from Davidson. Still not getting those second chance opportunities to go. And now a jump ball is called.
They're all over the offensive glass. Now, if you watch the possession just prior to what we're seeing here, ball comes off the rim. Penina Davidson can't get two hands to the basketball, so she uses her right hand to tip it to the advantage of Froling. Froling gets a layup attempt, and then they keep the string of shot attempts alive just by pure work effort.
Okay, so the referees have conferred here and flipped the call. It will be a Boomers ball from their baseline. They're going small here with Conti checking in and Davidson taking a seat. 12 seconds to shoot. Froling just gets it off in time for Blitzarves, and Canada will drop the play here. Long attempt from Rochi. He's off target. Well played by Blitzarves to keep it alive. Team rebound allows Canada to shoot for three. The Boomers, it's not working for them from deep today. Maley taking on Froling. Genuine one-on-one. Big defensive play there from Froling. She's disappointed the foul was called. It was a tough-looking shot from Maley in the end, and she will go to the line.
And that layup is, or that post move, I should say, is on the back of, I think, some average shot selection from the Boomers. So pulling up for that long two, that's the thing that ends in the long rebound, and then Perth gets it and goes at a rate of knots. And finally, Maley turns it into what we call a Barkley, where she drives to the basket, then turns her back, and a la NBA star of all time, Charles Barkley, turns into a little post move at the end of it.
They're going at 22% from the field in this game, the Melbourne Boomers, whereas the Lynx are going at 38%, including 6 of 14 from deep. With a minute to go, Maley gives the Lynx a 13-point advantage. Atwell and Goodchild make it difficult for Canada. Conti swings it, and Canada can set it up here. Back out for Blitzarves. All oxygen. Conti keeps it alive, though. 5 to shoot. Rochi guarded here by Goodchild. Has to put it up. Does put it up and gets a much-needed 2.
They needed that one. It will be interesting here with the Perth Lynx. So they go for a 2-for-1. So try to get a quick shot like they do here.
Oh, and McDonald drains it.
Means the Boomers will have a possession and Perth will have one more chance to score before the end of the quarter.
This has been an awesome second term by the Perth Lynx. Really challenging the top of the table Boomers. Tough shot. Again, interesting shot selection. Froling goes to work. And it's a 3 in the key call. And speaking of 3, the Lynx will have 3 seconds to work with for a final score. There'll be a timeout beforehand. And the Lynx have a 14-point advantage. My goodness, Mark, if they're able to get a score on the board just before halftime here, they'll be going in full of confidence into the sheds.
I'm interested to see what Coach Ryan Petrick draws up here. 3.3 seconds doesn't sound like a whole lot, but getting somebody on a running start, so like your Aerie McDonald, so you'll see her back in the lineup, on a running start, she'll be able to cross half court with a full 2 seconds left to be able to take an extra dribble, get into three-point territory herself, or she's always looking for whenever you commit a second defender to her, and then she'll kick the ball out for a three-point shooter.
So a 14-point advantage for the Perth Lynx, coming up a couple of consecutive losses. I think they'll be pretty satisfied as well, considering that they're not necessarily known for being the most defensively strong team in the WNBL. They're ranked 7th in the competition for points conceded, but to keep the Boomers to 28 in a half would be pretty impressive. It would make Ryan Petrick pretty happy.
Yeah, and the challenge they're going to have coming out of halftime is, can they rectify the second half challenges they've had in their past 2 games? They've been here. They get a real opportunity to build some confidence.
Good child for McDonald. Runs out of time in the end, but the Perth Lynx will be very satisfied away from their home floor to be 14 points up over the undefeated Melbourne Boomers. The Perth Lynx 42, the Boomers 28 at halftime. A mighty impressive performance from the Lynx, in particular during that second quarter, where they really were able to put their scoreboard advantage and make it count. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from that second quarter. And it started with Potter inside the perimeter, and then the likes of Goodchild and Clinch Hoycard, Mark, really got going from beyond the perimeter.
Well, they did, and I think Potter was a huge catalyst for that at the start of the quarter. So she provides you with a post presence that you can throw the ball into, and she's been able to turn and face up, get to the basket off one dribble, shoot her jump shot from short range. But then being a decoy becomes really, really valuable for the Lynx, especially if the ball goes in with the knowledge that you're going to have some action out on the perimeter. We know that they can get hot from the three-point line, so you use her as a catalyst or a facilitator of sorts for other things.
So whether it's been on the inside or the outside, and that was a big-time three ball from Airey McDonald just before the halftime buzzer. And she ensures that it's a 14-point lead for Perth. Indigenous recognition for the Melbourne Boomers this round continues at halftime as we have a look at some of the numbers. It is the Perth Lynx who've got their three-ball game going. They're 47% at halftime. That's ominous from a Melbourne Boomers perspective, Mark.
It is, and you've got to do something different defensively to start to take that away and challenge them to do other things. You always want to break a losing pattern, but quite telling for me is you look at the three-point shooting for the Melbourne Boomers. 2 of 13 is quite low, but then what's not represented there is 5 or 6 long two-point shots that I keep alluding to are the catalysts for the ability for the Perth Lynx to get it and run the tempo or the high-octane style that they want, and that allows them to play the game at the rhythm and the tempo that is what lends itself to them playing their best.
Mila Goodchild has hit 3 triples already. She's got 13 points, and Potter has 11. Keely Froling already up to 11 rebounds, most of them off the offensive glass. But her eyes will firmly be on the team scoreboard at the moment, which sees the Boomers down by 14 at halftime. We'll take a short break and come back with the second half action from Parkville in just a few moments.
Journey to Earth's greatest wilderness.
In a world full of extremes,
Where nature puts on its most dramatic show.
a desert storm is brewing.
Life exists here at the limits of survival.
From the scorching African Sahara to the blistering Aussie outback, how does life survive the fiercest
A
places
hostile world.
on Earth? New Planet Earth 3, tonight after 60 minutes on 9 and 9 Now.
Ford dealers have backed sport in communities for nearly 100 years. And now, from the Boomers and Opals to Aussie Hoops, your local Ford dealer is proud to support basketball. Because all dreams start somewhere.
Wilson trying to feed her. Simpson loads up and hits it. And there it is, that full court press. Bridget, Sammy Wickham, circus basketball to roof.
The doors open again for Southside. Mitchell, huge play to punch.
Here's Samuels. Oh, good handles from Casey Samuels, and it's been her game. Inside, outside action. Need to get a shot up. On the buzzer, how about that from Sammy Wickham?
Hi I'm Sammy Whitcomb, and this is Harper.
And I'm Steph Reed, and this is Frankie.
And we're here with Ford Aussie Hoops, and we're gonna go have some fun.
It's her head. Wow. Is that
already not proportionate.
And round.
So sorry. Oh, I'd give you an extra finger. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, things.
Look, I've set the bar low. Don't even stress. Middle part, she's nailed it.
She's killing.
You coming in with the old eye color?
You're doing good.
Yeah, it's all right. Big, pretty blue eyes.
It's going through the legs.
It's going through the
Yes,
legs.
she knows me.
Like signature it up right next to me, because we're the ones who did that.
I really like my hair, Sammy. The little love part. There we go.
There it is.
Yep.
Boom.
That's me.
The travel guides rate their favourite trips ever.
Wet Sundays was so cool.
What will be their #1 trip?
My favourite trip
Is
New travel guides' favourite trips. Tuesday, 7:30 on 9.
Hello, Australia. Want to go for a ride?
A summer heatwave has arrived.
This is it. This is what we've been waiting for.
4 spicy nights a week.
It's open season. It's Love Island.
Be afraid, boys.
The power has shifted. The girls are in charge.
What the hell? What the hell?
Surprise!
The steamy villain era has arrived. New Love Island. New episodes drop Monday to Thursday on 9 now.
He's an absolute workhorse.
Alex Demonor. Australia's top hope. Oh, what a shot. He tries to get to every ball. Demonor, thousands in Melbourne.
Welcome back to Parkville, Melbourne Sports Centre. And we have got a potential boil over on our hands. At half-time, the undefeated Melbourne Boomers down by 14 against the Perth Lynx. Melbourne Boomers 28, the Perth Lynx 42, but still plenty of time left in this basketball game and potentially lots of twists and turns. Ben Waterworth with you alongside reigning NBL 1 National Championship coach Mark Alabakoff. It's a massive statement from the Perth Lynx in that first half, Mark.
But it's only half the job done.
Yes.
So that's going to be the challenge. I think for both of these teams, they know they've been there. So for Perth, being up at a half-time and playing some great basketball, do they have now the clarity to be able to navigate a second term and be able to execute against a high-caliber opponent to be able to land the plane essentially and get the result that they came for? But for Melbourne Boomers, they know they've been here. They've been able to chase down leads before. They had an overtime game against the Caps just last week. Do they do anything differently to try and leverage a little bit of a momentum turn? But I think being who they are has been profitable for them so far this season.
We know that they've still got plenty of improvement and room to grow in this second half, considering what's gone down in that first half. And we know that a player like Naz Silman can really catch fire as well. That's certainly what happened against the UC Capitals last weekend when she had a monster game. The 33 points and 13 rebounds. Importantly, she was 13 of 20 from the field and played a huge role in that overtime win over the UC Caps. Keely Froling was also impressive with 17 points and 7 rebounds. Keely already has 11 rebounds today, 8 of them off the offensive glass. But Naz Silman in particular was so important against the UC Caps last weekend. She's had 78 games of WNBA experience over the last 2 seasons. So while a lot of attention on Jordan Canada, Hillman's come in and had a big influence for the Melbourne Boomers this season.
She has, and she plays with a level of physicality that is her point of difference. So she's slightly undersized for her position on the floor, but does a great job with her body work, being able to allow the fall of the ball to be right, where she can go and run through it, essentially. Just being able to keep stuff alive is another hallmark trait of the Melbourne Boomers. They've got so many of them.
Another big half for Emily Potter. 11 points and 5 rebounds at the half. She's going at 50% from the field. She's an efficient shooter, as we've seen right throughout this season so far. She's been such a shrewd acquisition, considering how strong the Lynx are on the outside. She's strong on the inside.
She is, and she's got great body control. So where in previous seasons you saw with the Perth Lynx they had the three-point shooting of a Lauren Scherf, she gives you similar size, similar passing ability and playmaking, but more with a tilt towards being an offensive presence. She just gets to the right spots for high percentage shots. She can play through contact and score, but then her shooting range is, out to that short corner sort of distance. That seems to be her bread and butter.
Okay, so from a Melbourne Boomers perspective, you spoke about shot selection in particular being a key focus for them going forward. What about at the defensive end of the floor? Because Perth are just starting to get hot from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and about 40% of Perth's shots for the half have been three-point shots. So you've got to throw something different out. So any of the screening exchanges, you're probably looking to switch. So switching off whoever is screening onto the person that's receiving the screen, just to try to blow up some of those clean looks that they have at the three-point line. Trying not to what we call over-helping when you're guarding somebody who's near, perhaps someone dribbling off the dribble. You have one little hedge or stunt towards the ball and then get back and be able to challenge people to put the ball to the floor. You've got to have a high hand and close that gap as quickly as possible to force them away from an open three-point look.
Huge opportunity for the Perth Lynx away from home. They hold a 14-point advantage, but as Mark Alabakov said, the job is only half done. Third quarter underway here from Parkville. The Lynx 42, the Boomers 28. Maley for McDonald, who hit a big three late. Now Maley has a chance for her own three, and it goes over the backboard and out of bounds. She had a really good look there, Annalie Maley.
And the clean look comes off the back of Keely Froling got airborne, trying to challenge a shot. You've got to keep your feet and be the second person to leave the floor defensively.
Boombox a little quiet after halftime, considering the state of play. Reed, tough defense there from Goodchild. And now Blitzarves, that was tough. Driving into the lane and banking it in for two.
And explosive with her first step. Sarah Blitzarves, she's made a career out of that right-hand drive to the rim.
15th season in the WNBL. Maley for McDonald, really wide open for three. She drains it. Game high 15-point lead for the Perth Lynx. McDonald has the last two threes of the game. Hillman for Blitzarves. She's double teamed here. Canada with 3 seconds to shoot. Had to put it up, had to hit, does hit.
Tough shot because the offense stalled for them. Sarah Blitzarves had a left-handed drive into the paint, but turned back to where all of the defense was, to her right hand.
Great pass inside, all the hard work. Set up a pot of two, that was missed, but Goodchild is hot from deep today. Couldn't get that one to go and mainly couldn't quite grab the offensive rebound. The Boomers breathe a sigh of relief. Potter just getting in the way there of Hillman, sending it out of bounds with 16 seconds on the shot clock. Big second quarter by Perth, a 23-9 second quarter against the undefeated ladder-leading Boomers. Canada with 5 to shoot. Has to put it up now. Tough three-point attempt. All oxygen. Did Hillman get it off in time? No, according to the referee.
A shot needed to hit the rim to have that shot clock reset, but a great start by Naz Hillman, just hanging around the basket. So nearly gets on the end of a layup earlier and then nearly cleans up a missed shot for a putback.
Goodchild pulled the trigger early. Hillman brought down the rebound. Stops here for the Boomers. They make a count at the other end. Blitzar's in rhythm. Well off target, but Reed has time. And so do the Boomers. Froling with a long 2 attempt. That didn't come off, and a strong rebound from Atwell, who pulls up for 3. And Maley brings down the board. Now Goodchild didn't take the 3, stepped inside. Great maturity beyond her years. Didn't quite get that left-hand finish to go. The idea was awesome, though. Froling, so no one came to her, so she took the advantage, drove to the rack, hit the 2, and will shoot for an extra.
Smart play there by Froling. It's a straight line drive, wears the contact and finishes with her right hand. I love this approach from her. I challenged her at the start of the season. Her and Sarah Blitzarves, I said that those 2 athletes could lead this competition in and ones. So made baskets and then the +1 free throw.
Can't get that second one to go, but might turn it into a 4 or a 5 point play here for the Melbourne Boomers. With 7 minutes remaining. Canada with the crossover, gets the screen from Froling, who missed. Now Atwell for Maley. Calls for movement inside the perimeter. McDonald with a good look here for 3. She can't get it to go. So the Boomers back within 10. They continue to chip away at that deficit. Canada gracefully puts that in for 2.
It's a big opportunity here for the Boomers to make some headway here in the margin. They've been able to keep Perth with their zone defense initially in the quarter, keep them out of rhythm and missing some of the shots that we saw them hit in the second quarter.
Oh, McDonald, so good. Got around several Boomers opponents and laid it in for 2.
Until Erin McDonald does that.
Froling thought about the triple attempt. Canada, though, has threatened to really break the game open for the Boomers in this quarter. Froling turns and can't get that one to go. An unlucky roll, and it's off Melbourne hands for a Perth baseline ball.
I like that approach. That's the response that the Boomers need. So they pump the ball inside, try and get themselves a score. You see Naz Hillman go to the offensive glass, ends up being tipped out by a Perth Lynx player. Now they'll get an extra possession out of it.
Yeah, referees just, again, changing the call, so it will be a 14-second opportunity coming up here for the Boomers. Blitzarves trying to feed it to Canada. McDonald was on the case there, knocking it out of bounds. Still 10 on the shot clock. It's been a tantalising matchup all game. Blitzarves, long 3. Interesting shot selection again from the Boomers. Good shot at the other end. Pulls up. Can't get it to go. Again, she's doing all the hard work, getting to a pretty good position. Just can't quite finish. Canada accelerates into the key. Here comes Reed, who falls short. A lucky break there for Froling, who picked up the crumbs and put it in for 2.
My goodness, what's she up to for offensive rebounds? That'd be almost double digits.
It's 9 for Keely Froling now. Big game from her, and an even bigger game from Potter, who continues to play with great presence close to the ring.
So if you're the Boomers, this is touch distance. 10 points can go just like that in this competition. You can't freak out the moment that Perth Lynx get a layup or hit a 3. You've just got to keep going to the well and almost try and play with an even keel. Speaking of keels.
Keel, yes. Keely Froling lays it in for 2. So the Boomers, as Mark said, still within striking distance here. Double team on McDonald. McDonald keeps control just. And then an offensive foul is drawn by Canada against McDonald. Big play for the Boomers.
Now, probably an opportunity here for the Perth Lynx. If you're Coach Ryan Petrick and you see this going down a similar path to perhaps previous weeks, great opportunity to call a timeout and be able to settle your troops, find a bit of equilibrium in what you're trying to do.
Hillman and Canada combine. Reed has a good look for 3, and she drains it. Doesn't call a timeout, Ryan Petrick, despite being back within 5 points now, the Boomers. Again, McDonald double teamed. Clinch Hoykard is fouled. It's a nice move on the inside, and she will head to the line and shoot 2.
Expanding her game, Clinch Hoycard, so we know the pick and pop shooting, that's who she is. So that's still going to be the primary focus of what she tries to do. But then being able to mix it up with a roll to basket and hanging around the hoop, being able to get some stuff close to the rim, just rounds out her as a player and her as an offensive threat.
Really good example of the WA State Pathway program working well. Spent 2 seasons on the Lynx roster as a development player, and this is her 2nd season on the main roster. And having more opportunities this season and really thriving. Averaging the 7 points per game, and importantly, 45% from deep. We've already seen that on display today. Reed kicks it out. Canada, maybe one pass too many. Clinch Hoycard for Maley, for Goodchild. Great defense from Canada. Maley, though, comes in, picks up the crumbs, hits the floor. It's out of bounds, off Maley. Just the momentum of the game and a few things starting to go Melbourne's way.
Yeah, and getting out of jail. I mean, great job by Jordan Canada to challenge that shot with her inside hand over the top, so almost allowing Mila Goodchild to get that front position towards the basket, coming back with her left hand over the top, just bothers her out of the points.
Now Canada at the offensive end of the floor. Reed lobbing it in for Hillman, back out for Canada. This is better passing, better shot selection. Blitzarves drains it. Boomers right back in this one now. Just the 4 points between these two sides. It just seemed like a minute ago that the Lynx were leading by a game-high 15. As Mark mentioned, that kind of lead can dissipate very, very quickly in the WNBL.
Absolutely, and the challenge that you have when you're coaching, and this is the challenge that Coach Ryan Petrick has right now, at what point do you trust your personnel to be able to dig themselves out of a little bit of a momentum hole, or do you come in and stop the game and kill the momentum and give them a hand?
Quick turnover at the other end of the floor. Big look there from Conti, didn't drop.
10th offensive rebound for Keely Froling.
Mighty performance. Canada hit a couple of really nice mid-range 2s this quarter. Has drawn it back within 2. Timeout called, and a much-needed one for the Perth Lynx. This timeout brought to you by Ford Aussie Hoops. Whether your little one is already shooting hoops in the backyard or simply looking to get out there and give basketball a go, the Ford Aussie Hoops program is the perfect way to kickstart their journey and the perfect introduction into the world of basketball. It's for kids aged 5 to 10 years of age, so register today for Ford Aussie Hoops, and to find a program near you, head to aussiehoops.basketball. What have you seen from the Boomers, Mark, that has seen them been able to get back within a field goal?
Well, I mean, I've banged on about it for most of the first 3 quarters, is the shot selection. So they look far more patient. They're playing to their strengths, which is to get the ball inside, whether that's via a direct post touch, whether that's a high post catch for a Keely Froling. But, that isn't the end point. So that is just the catalyst for further things to happen. So you're always trying to score in those opportunities, but the moment you don't, or you can use them as a facilitator type role for other actions that are then forthcoming, they're patient. The 3-point shots that they're shooting out on the perimeter are coming off the back of, a paint touch. The ball's getting into the paint before it comes out to the 3-point line, and that's why there's a whole lot more time and space. There's better rhythm, better execution, and that's why you see a 21-9 quarter so far for the Melbourne Boomers.
What have the Lynx got here? Conti trying to draw some contact there. Potter, and now Atwell. Turned over. Canada has really turned this game. She levels the scores. She's put her team on her back. Driven them superbly. Speaking of superb drives, Erin McDonald out of nowhere pulls out a stunner.
My goodness. It's MVP candidate versus MVP candidate.
Got a star off between Canada and McDonald. Froling for Hillman. Hands it off for Canada, who pulls up for another mid-range 2. Gets the lucky roll.
We are being treated to some world-class basketball right now.
It's living up to all expectations. McDonald can't hit the three, but a great offensive rebound from Chibatoni. And McDonald can't quite keep it alive again. All tied up, 53 apiece. This is why they're undefeated, the Melbourne Boomers. You can't discount them at any point of a game. Canada gets the screen from Froling, kicks it out for Conti. Long three-ball attempt, in and out. And Potter able to find McDonald, who's double-teamed. Potter plays point guard, bringing it up the floor. Awkwardly in the end. Atwell, well, if she kept control or wasn't fouled, she had a really good look there. Hillman is called for the foul.
That's the way Amy Atwell's game has matured, is not just looking for the three-point shots. Her ability and her instinct to get on the basket rounds her out as an offensive talent.
Still yet to score today, Amy Atwell. She's 0 of 9 from the field, including 0 of 5 from deep. Only takes one shot to change that, though. And there is that shot. Atwell comes alive with a minute left in the third.
Have you got the script in front of you?
Not quite. Here's Conti with a minute left. Trying to feed someone inside. Atwell comes up with a steal. Clinch Hoy card for Chibatoni. She looks for three. Looked a little deep off the hand. Good child, athletically up, but didn't quite have the height on Hillman. Canada inside for Froling. Clinch Hoy card gives away the foul. That's her third personal foul. Third foul, or three fouls rather, on Hillman as well as the only other player in some foul trouble late in this game. Late in this third quarter, rather. Hillman does take a seat. 3 fouls to her name. 27 seconds left in the third quarter. 13-second differential between the two clocks. Froling for Davidson. Couldn't get it to go. There's no shot clock remaining. The Lynx can have the final say. Amy Atwell for three. Can't get it to go. Reed comes down with the rebound. Canada has turned this game this third quarter. Has she got one epic play left? She doesn't. It falls short. But we are all set up for a grandstand finish. The Lynx, led by 15 early stages of the third quarter. They now only lead by 3 after a mighty Boomers comeback, a 25-14 third quarter by the Melbourne Boomers. Let's have a look at some of those highlights in the third quarter in particular. And the Boomers much better with their shot selection. They are efficient, but Jordan Canada playing an awesome third quarter mark. She has 19 points now.
Well, I mean, she's a big-time player that wants the ball in her hands to make decisions when it's winning time. And that was the phrase that I used at the start of the game, and she's exemplifying that. And you saw a little bit of it, as a counter by Erin McDonald. But Canada's been incredible off the bounce as a decision maker. They're making the extra pass to try and get Blitzarves into the game. She's changed her game and playing more from the perimeter too and thriving within that role. But one of the things that you talked about, the shot selection, being able to go inside. In that quarter alone, they have 12 points in the paint. They've had 22 for 3 quarters. So over half of that amount has been just from that quarter alone.
And their field goal percentage, big boost in that quarter. They're up to the 32%. And the rebound count, particularly off the offensive glass. We've mentioned Keely Froling today. 10 offensive rebounds to go with 13 overall. They have been terrific off the glass. It almost sort of kept them in the game early stages, Mark.
Yeah, and they're absurd numbers. I mean, that's super woman type stuff to be able to get 10 offensive rebounds, Keely Froling. But I love her aggressive mindset to be able to make plays and not worry too much about whether she thinks she's been fouled, just being able to play through contact, have the tenacity to go and get the ball back if the shot misses. There's no limit to how many shot attempts you can take. If you've got the work ethic and the persistence to go and get it and attempt it again and get it and attempt it again till you wheel the ball into the hoop, that's what winning is.
Well, we've talked about the Perth Lynx struggling in the back half of games in recent times. The Melbourne Boomers averaged 22 points in fourth quarters this season, which is the third best in the league. Final quarter underway from Parkville. The Lynx 56, the Boomers 53. Melbourne trying to remain undefeated so far this season. The Lynx looking to land a big blow. Canada can't land an early blow in this fourth quarter. Goodchild was awesome in that first half. Clint Shoykar provides an option. 8 to shoot here. Atwell guarded closely by Reed. Works her way inside with aggression. Can't quite get the right-hand finish to go. And knocked out of the hands, though, by Chibatoni. Atwell, unfortunately, stepped out of bounds.
But that's a great aggressive mindset. And they've had a couple of layup attempts in the early part of both this quarter, but then the quarter just gone, that have just rimmed out. It still aligns with the way that the Perth Lynx want to play.
So it will be a sideline ball here for the Boomers. Big third quarter from them. Can they keep that momentum going in the fourth? Canada keeps control superbly. Offensive foul is called, though, against the Boomers. Froling is called for the foul. Clint Shoykar a little slow to get to her feet. She took some heavy contact. Here's a look on replay. Mainly because she ran into her teammate, friendly fire with Emily Potter. She will come to the bench, Mackenzie Clint Shoykar, but she's played an important role for the Lynx so far today. 8 points and 3 rebounds. Chibatoni running point here with McDonald on the bench. Goodchild got free. Ran in straight to the wall that is Keely Froling, then was dealt with afterwards. Goodchild still down behind the play. Reed lobs it over the top for Davidson. Goodchild arrives to guard, but Reed is free for 3. Can't get that one to go. And just Amy Atwell able to gather. Turns and goes. Offensive foul is called against Atwell.
I thought that was unlucky. Caught it with the leg there.
Yeah.
I would say Amy Atwell should be shooting 2 free throws.
Yep.
But again, I mean, look, this is the mental toughness piece for the Perth Lynx. They've been in this position before where they've had a lead be run down. They can't have like the scoreboard change the way that they play, or little instances like that. I mean, it was still the right decision by Amy to try and get on the rim.
McDonald back on the floor for Perth. And this matchup between the two WNBA guns continues. Rochi thought about the triple attempt, fed Davidson instead, was blocked by Potter, and she gives herself a little fist pump as well, running back onto offense. McDonald can't get it to go. Big play from Emily Potter. Rochi out for Canada in rhythm. Didn't look good off the hand. Chibatoni rebounds, turns it over. Reed gets it to go. Tedder Reed comes up with a much-needed basket. We're heading to the other end of the floor. Must have been an unsportsmanlike Davidson. So it means that Annalee Maley will be heading to the free throw line. And she hits that free throw attempt. So here's the basket. This was for a bit of back chat against the referee. She takes a seat.
Come on, everyone, it's getting hot in here, isn't it?
It's her first personal foul. Here's McDonald streaming through. Oh, what a star. She will head to the line for an extra after hitting that tough layup. We've seen that in this second half. Driving hard, aggressively on the inside.
It's such a creative finisher, but what you missed earlier in the possession is every pick and roll, so every time someone comes to screen to try and dislodge a defender from her, the two defenders are staying to try to trap Aari McDonald to force her to give the ball up. She just outruns both of them.
She's quick. That's
insane.
That acceleration is hard to guard. Canada McDonald shoot-off continues. Here's Canada. It's the screen from Reed. Now Blitzar's long 2 attempts. In and out. And a foul is called.
It's going to be on Hillman.
So that is her 4th personal as well. Will she stay on the floor?
That's the challenge when you guard Annalise Maley, whoever it is, you've just got to impede her run as early as possible. If you let her get a running start, she's agile, she's long, she's athletic, and she finds a way to get into little spaces to keep the basketball alive. You've almost got to have touch contact on her all the time, it's like you're playing AFL football.
And importantly, as well, for the Lynx, the Boomers are now 1 foul away from the bonus. Hillman is staying out there for now.
And I love that you mentioned that, because I think the Lynx has been able to put pressure on the hoop in the past couple of possessions, but they're kicking the ball out to the perimeter, trying to win the game from the 3-point line. I'd like to see them stay aggressive and make those plays off the bounce.
And he thought about the 3. Atwell lobs it in for Potter. If you're going to win it on the inside, Potter's going to be your go-to. She backs down on Hillman. Can't draw the foul. Hillman comes down with the rebound. Canada at the other end, crossing over and spinning and passing for Blitzars. Rochi was free. Now Blitzars with 7 to shoot. Behind the back goes Sarah. Can't get it to go. Big rebound, Hillman, and she this time draws the contact.
It gets difficult to have to defend just multiple effort rebounders, and you've got a slew of them at the Melbourne Boomers. So this stuff here, so that rebound, put back attempt, you either give up a layup 2 feet from the hoop or you inadvertently have to foul people and put them to the line. But in any case, it's a benefit to the Melbourne Boomers.
76% free throw shooter so far this season. Naz Hillman has 11 rebounds today with 4 points. It becomes 5. A couple of substitutions with 6.5 to play. Hillman will take a seat. The Lynx got. They hold their nerve against the first place side. Potter feeds Goodchild. For Maley, puts up the 3. Big time 3 ball from Annalise Maley.
I was just about to say she had a right-handed drive to the hoop if she wanted it. Sarah Blitzar's had her stance angled that she was giving up a straight line.
Hasn't been her most efficient season from beyond the arc, but she trusts her shot on that occasion. Froling misses, big rebound from McDonald, and an important foul for the Lynx. The Boomers are in the bonus.
So being first to the ball in instances like that, or being able to leverage some attack on the hoop and put yourself in positions to be fouled, or where it's 50-50, any foul call, you're going to shoot 2 free throws for the next 6 minutes. So that's a huge, huge thing in your favor if you're the Perth Lynx. But you can just as easily not utilize that and almost allow the Melbourne Boomers off the hook if you go too perimeter focused.
She's an 82% free throw shooter, Aari McDonald. She's 3 of 5 so far in this game. Free throw shooting will be so important in these last 6 minutes. She misses both. But Maley rips it away and still gets the 2 for the Lynx. That is Maley at her best.
That's why you want her on your basketball team.
Epic O-board from the MVP. Oh, Rochi, speaking of epic, that was a wonderful move. Straight back down to business at the defensive end of the floor. McDonald working with Clint Choikard here. And she speed away again. She kicks it out for Maley. She trusts her 3-ball. She hits the 3-ball. She is pumped. She has put her team on her back in this 4th quarter. And against the flow, the Lynx have a 9-point lead. Awesome from Annalee Maley. She comes up with a big 4th quarter with 5.5 minutes though still to play. Timeout called, brought to you by the official WNBL app. You won't want to miss a minute of the action. Therefore, for live scores, highlights, player, team information, Annalee Maley buckets and a lot more, download the free WNBL app from the preferred app store today. We're seeing a star of Australian basketball rise against a big opponent today in this 4th quarter mark through Annalee Maley.
Yeah, and she's come up big, so they've challenged her to be able to shoot that 3-point shot, because as you alluded to, hasn't been her strength at the start of this season just yet, but she's knocked 2 down in a row. Now the adjustments have to occur. You've got to deal with what you see, not what the percentages might say. So she's hit 2 big ones that now put her team up by 9 points. You've got to start to chase her off the 3-point line and force her to do something different. Force her to have to make a play off the bounce, perhaps a pass to a teammate, or being able to get to the rim at, off the bounce. But force her to do a plan B where she's been able to knock 2 of them down.
So that's her 5th double-double of the season so far, Annalee Maley. She's got 14 points to go with 13 rebounds. She's had at least 10 rebounds in every game so far this season. And the Lynx, after being really challenged by the Boomers, late in the 3rd, at the start of the 4th, they're back out to a 9-point lead off the back of 8 straight points from Annalee Maley. Canada, mid-range 2 falls well short, and a long rebound for the Lynx. Can they get the fast break opportunity here? McDonald tried to thread the needle, didn't come off. Canada comes back the other way. McDonald knocks it away off Boomer's hands. This matchup has been must-watch between Canada and McDonald all afternoon.
You can verify I've changed my position in my seat about 3 times in the past 30 seconds. My goodness.
Hard to know which way to look. McDonald goes behind the back. Canada giving her no room to move. Maley, hot hand. Oh my goodness, Annalee. Stuff the numbers. I'll keep going back to my 3-point shot. She's got 4 from 5 from deep today. Foul called on the Lynx. That's their 3rd team foul of the 4th. Shibatoni called for her first personal foul. Clint Choikard, the only Lynx player with 3. Whereas for the Melbourne Boomers, Hillman has 4. Froling and Blitzars with 3. She takes a seat on the bench, but the Boomers are in the bonus. Nonetheless, Hillman back on the floor. Blitzarves takes on Clint Choikard, grits the teeth, loses control. Refs say it's a Perth ball. Huge 4 minutes coming up for this club.
Good time for the Perth Lynx to put Amy Atwell and Emily Potter back into the game.
Hold fire on the subs. McDonald double teamed. Maley brings it up the floor. McDonald goes to work. Mac can't get that one to go. Canada this time grits the teeth, puts the shoulder down. Conti for Blitzarves. Hillman backing down. That's an awesome Hook shot, banks it in off the glass.
Spectacular footwork there, and just patience to be able to step through where she has a spatial advantage to put it off the glass.
10-point lead, still plenty of time. McDonald going to work, wrong foot's Conti, can't hit the three, Hillman with a big rebound. Important stop for the Boomers. Canada goes to work, kicks it out for Blitzarves. And then a long rebound for Goodchild. Good luck stopping her. She takes on Blitzarves and she draws the contact and will head to the line to shoot two. That's 4 fouls on Sarah Blitzarves.
And this is what I alluded to earlier. So where you've got the Melbourne Boomers in foul trouble and everything is going to send you to the free throw line, the attack on the ball by Mila Goodchild, when the ball's in disrepute, she runs through it and then runs through any arms that are in the road, makes sure she secures possession, gets on the end of a layup attempt in a fast break.
So with that free throw, she is 4 from 5 from the charity stripe this season. Doesn't get there a lot at the charity stripe, but when she's there, she makes the most of it. 12-point lead for Perth, just over 3 minutes to play. Canada. Will she take it on herself here? Goes between the legs and floats it in for two. Win or lose today, she's been spectacular.
There's still time.
McDonald! Count the points. She drew the contact. Anything Canada can do at one end, McDonald responds herself. Misses the free throw, but Maley brings down, who else? An offensive rebound. And now Perth right in the box seat. Goodchild spears it in for Potter with the right. Unlucky roll, offensive rebound. Doesn't get it to go, but she will head to the line to shoot two.
And I like this, just keep pumping it inside so you put yourself in positions to be fouled. You can kill some of the momentum, or any momentum that the Melbourne Boomers might try to strike up, but then you get gifted free throws.
79% free throw shooter Emily Potter. With that foul, Hillman, Froling and Blitzarves are now all on 4 fouls.
It's the only shot you shoot with no defenders in front of you.
Can't get the second one to go. She's done it again, Maley. Can't quite control it, though. Ryan Petrick said pre-season that Annalee Maley is the best rebounder I've seen in my time in the WNBL. But as she's proven over the past couple of seasons, there's so much more to her game now.
There really is. So we know that she can score the basketball, and probably more off the dribble than anything, being able to get to the rim and have creative finishes. But the thing that's most pleasing for me is she's becoming a better decision maker. So she's 13th in the competition for assists. She's averaging a little over 4 per game. So her ability to use her stature and her gravity to get other people easy baskets, that's the next level for Annalee Maley.
So there's your look at the next 4 games for both sides. So they will be meeting very, very shortly, the Lynx and the Boomers. They'll be heading to Perth to play their next encounter, and then the Lynx, a pretty decent run before Christmas with home games. They'll take on the Flyers and the Flames on their home floor across the next couple of rounds as well, with a trip to Adelaide in between. With 2.5 to play, still plenty of time. The Lynx have made a big, big statement. Harry McDonald against Canada has been a tantalising matchup. McDonald with 19 points and 8 assists. Canada with 21 points, 5 assists and 5 boards and 5 steals. And they get to do it all again in a few days' time in Perth. Conti is fouled by Potter. 4th foul on the Lynx.
So you've got to be closer when you're in this half-court trap, closer to where you can try and play or make a play at the ball, I should say, on that passing lane. When you're behind the player, it makes you susceptible to fouling like that.
Hillman with 10 to shoot. Patient build up here from the Boomers. Reed drives into the lane. Can't hit it. And a big rebound from Annalie Maley again. Board number 15 for her. Crowd tries to lift the home team with 2 minutes to play. 13 points to make up. Oh my, McDonald with aggression inside. Froling, I think, is called for the foul. In fact, it's Reed. Apologies. It'll be a 13-point advantage still for the Lynx, but McDonald can make it 15.
Great play there by McDonald, but probably lucky from a strategy point of view. Like, you don't need to be rushing possessions. You're up by 13 points. If the Boomers come out in any sort of softer defense where they're not putting a whole lot of pressure on the ball, you can chew a whole lot of this clock away and make it a limited possession game and not give the Boomers enough opportunities to be able to make up the deficit.
McDonald sinks both free throws, takes her tally to 21. It's been a great fight back from her in terms of the last game she played against Townsville. She was 1 of 8 from the field, just the 4 points. She's responded in epic fashion. She's drawn 8 fouls today. Erin McDonald, terrific aggression. Conti gets around Goodchild, kicks it out for Davidson. Goes herself with a tough 2 attempt, and Maley again. Played an incredible fourth quarter at both ends of the floor. Pick and roll action between Goodchild and Potter. Maley almost with the putback. That would have been the cherry on top of her performance. Conti steps back, must hit the 3, can't hit the 3. Knocked away from Atwell by Tedder Reed. 70 seconds left. The Lynx now looking pretty, 15 points in front. Reed has a seat. And the Lynx, you sense now, can soak up these last 70 seconds. McDonald lobs it in for Potter. The 2 imports combine superbly.
What a great pass. And a fantastic screen and then rolls straight down the lane by Potter.
Canada. Oh, is denied by Potter. The Potter's hand sends it in to the crowd. Terrific stuff from Emily Potter. Timing personified.
And that's not easy to do. So being in that defensive coverage where she's dropping off and trying to contain Jordan Canada, keep the separation and keep her in front of you and block the shot. Incredibly hard to do.
Now a 17-second differential between game clock and shot clock. And the Perth Lynx can smile tonight. Potter, cherry on top 3 attempt, didn't quite go. The Boomers bring it into their front court. Canada for Hillman, draws the contact. Only call for the foul, and Hillman will head to the line, shoot a couple. Will be inconsequential to the result of this game, though. A couple of Perth players who normally spend a lot of the game on the bench will have some court time. They are pumped. You can see what this means to this talented roster to come to the Melbourne Sports Centre in Parkville and register this victory.
Well, it's like exercising some demons too. Yeah. The last 2 games having a second half, it's less than their best. Being able to overcome a run by the Boomers, it does wonders for the psychology of the group and the morale and just their experience in the course of a season to know that they can get in these positions and still pull away and beat a quality opponent.
That is one almighty statement from the Perth Lynx. They inflict the first loss of the season on the Melbourne Boomers. They keep the Boomers to 63 points, and they are able to get a win on the board after dropping their past 2 games. And Ryan Petrick's team send a message to the rest of the Cygnett WNBL with an 80-63 victory over the Boomers. And importantly, Mark, they were severely challenged in the second half. In previous games, it might have fallen down, but they really ramped it up in that fourth quarter, led by Annalie Maley. But it felt like a real team-orientated performance today.
Yeah, it really did. And the way that they share the basketball and play at their frenetic pace, it's something that's tough to hold down over the course of 4 quarters. The challenge that they had was when the Boomers started to make their run, were they going to be able to hold their nerves, still be able to hold true to their identity and not let the emotion of the moment change the way that they played or deviate them from what they do best. So a massive, mature step forward for the Perth Lynx program.
We were looking forward to the battle between Jordan Canada and Aerie McDonald. It lived up to all expectations, but Aerie McDonald was absolutely crucial to the Lynx this afternoon, inside and outside. Hit a couple of triples, finished with the 21 points, 9 assists as well, and importantly was able to draw 8 fouls just with that aggression driving to the rack.
Yeah, and she's fantastic. I mean, MVP candidate for a reason. So the 21 points come through these sorts of acrobatic finishes. She's incredible off the bounce, but then gets other people involved. So the 9 assists that she gets, some of them are layups, but remember, some of these are 3-point shots. So there's a real possibility, if you really did the math, that up to 40, 45 points of this basketball game or more is as a result of the creation of Aerie McDonald.
Let's have a look at some of the highlights of the fourth quarter in particular. And the Boomers were well within striking distance at the start of the quarter. But Annalie Maley with a big couple of rebounds and then some triples as well, showing off just how versatile she can be. Potter with some blocks as well. This was the shot from Annalie Maley that really was the dagger and helped seal victory for the Perth Lynx, doing it a couple of times and proving why she was MVP a couple of seasons ago and why she is part of the Australian Opal setup and could have potentially play a big role in Paris 2024, Mark.
Yeah, and it was the string of those 3-point shots that really blew the game open. So if you paid attention on the last couple of clips when she hit those shots, there wasn't a Melbourne Boomers player that ran out to challenge her. So you've got to respect everybody, not only within this league, but certainly for the Perth Lynx, because this is the style of play that they execute, and they do so superbly well. So when you give her the time and space and she knocks down 3 of them, that blows the game open and ultimately puts it out of reach.
The Boomers were plus 12 for rebounds, and most of that differential was off the offensive glass, but still the Perth Lynx come up with the victory as well. They were hot from beyond the arc again. That 3-point percentage very, very high early in the game as well. That's a very, very satisfying win for the Perth Lynx as we have a look at some of the key contributors from an individual perspective as well. We've talked about Aerie McDonald and Annalie Maley in particular as well, but Emily Potter, 16 points, 8 rebounds, and as well 2 very, very important blocks late. They just had contributors all over the place, the Perth Lynx.
They have different people that carry them through different portions of the game too, and the strength of their lineup and the clarity of knowing who they are, that's exemplified by the amount of scorers that they have. But you can overcome a game where Amy Atwell doesn't shoot her best, but you know that a 1 of 12 performance is not the norm for her. You've still got Steph Gorman to come back into the lineup, and she's been highly efficient and a great 3-point shooter. So the sharing of the load through different portions of the game and then ending it with getting Aerie McDonald the basketball in her hands to make decisions, it's proven to be a really, really fruitful formula for the Perth Lynx in the early stages of the season.
Nothing more satisfying if you're a visiting team to see a pretty quiet and humbled home crowd leave the stadium. Round 5 done, round 6 coming your way, and we've got games right across Wednesday through to Sunday as well. Game of the week is between the Adelaide Lightning and the Sydney Flames as well. And then in 5 days' time, these two teams do it all over again, Perth and Melbourne. But it's a tough little road trip coming up for Perth because they go from Melbourne back to Perth tonight, play on Thursday, and then they're in Adelaide as well. But that's something that this Perth team has become accustomed to for years now.
Yeah, and it's the geography of the country. There's no choice. So, I mean, you can embrace it or you can make excuses about it. And I know that certainly Coach Ryan Petrick will be of the mindset that how do we keep as fresh as possible and stay to the standard of basketball that we've been playing and carry that through without any reasons or escape hatches for excuses, so to speak.
Great stuff, Mark. Great working alongside you once again. Enjoy the break. We don't have much of a break, though, because the action kicks up again on Wednesday. On behalf of Mark Alabakoff and our